Did you know that your body has a special type of fat that actually burns calories to keep you warm? And that most adults have far less of it than they could because modern life keeps us constantly warm and comfortable. The surprising part is that one small daily win can help activate this fat, improve metabolic health, and potentially change the trajectory of your life. So let's cut straight through the noise. Most people don't struggle with health because they're careless. They struggle because modern life has removed almost every natural stimulus the body evolved to respond to. Welcome to the Big Daddy Sweet Tips podcast. This is the daily podcast for people who are tired of doing all the right things and still feeling like their body isn't quite working with them. This is not a podcast about extremes or punishments. It's not about chasing perfect routines. It's about understanding how small daily wins add up over time. Because life does not change in one intense decision. It changes because of what you repeat, especially the things you don't even think about anymore. Every single day you make hundreds of small decisions. What you eat, how warm you keep yourself, how much discomfort you avoid, how quickly you reach for comfort. Each of those decisions sends a ripple. Some ripples quietly support your biology, whilst others quietly switch it off. And the dangerous thing is that when something stops working optimally, it rarely announces itself. It just slowly becomes normal. Low energy becomes normal. Weight gain becomes normal. Poor sleep becomes normal. Feeling older than you should becomes normal. And where you are today is not random. It's just the result of the signals you've been sending your body so far. That's not blame, that's an opportunity. Because bodies respond to signals, and when you change the signal, the response changes. This is where daily wins matter. A daily win isn't impressive, it doesn't feel dramatic, but it sends a clear message to your system. Stay active, stay responsive, stay switched on. And here's the part that most people miss. Your biology is deeply influenced by comfort. When everything is warm and soft and easy, your body adapts by doing less, burning less, activating less. And I call this allowing your vessel to build up rust. When your vessel remains unchallenged, it will build up rust. But when it is stimulated, you will begin to prime it. And this podcast exists to help you reintroduce those right signals across your health, wealth, and happiness without turning life into what feels like a daily grind. Each tip you hear will be deliberately small because the small, repeatable signals beat the big, short-lived efforts every single time. So today, don't look for intensity, look for a better signal. And with that in mind, let's talk about today's tip. Because it's almost too simple to be real. Today's tip is to activate your brown fat by eating frozen blueberries in the evening. And to understand why this works, we need to talk about a type of fat that most people don't even know exists: brown fat. Unlike white fat, which stores energy, brown fat burns energy. Its job is to generate heat. It keeps you warm. It increases calorie burn. It improves insulin sensitivity, and it plays a meaningful role in metabolic health. But here's the catch. Brown fat is activated by cold. And modern life has almost completely removed our cold exposure. We heat our homes, we wear layers, we avoid discomfort, we keep our environment perfectly controlled, and as a result, brown fat goes dormant. When brown fat is not used, it shrinks. When it's stimulated, on the other hand, it becomes more active, and this is where frozen blueberries come in. Eating frozen food creates a mild, very safe, cold stimulus from the inside out. Not extreme, not uncomfortable, but it's enough to send a signal to your body that says, we need to generate heat. That signal nudges brown fat into action. Why in the evening? Because in the evening, your body is transitioning from activity to recovery. And given that late night snacking often comes from habit, or from boredom, or from blood sugar dips, frozen blueberries replace that with something that is low calorie, high in fiber, rich in antioxidants, has minimal blood sugar impact, and provides cold exposure. So you're replacing a daily drift with a daily win. And this is a classic Big Daddy's Big Tips habit. Small, simple, and stacked with benefits. So let's look at how this ripples out across your health, wealth, and happiness. For your health, brown fat supports metabolic health and insulin sensitivity and energy regulation. Frozen blueberries also support your gut health and reduce inflammation through their polyphenol content. The cold stimulus gently challenges your system instead of letting it stagnate. For your wealth, metabolic health affects your energy, your productivity, and your long-term healthcare costs. Simple habits that support weight regulation and insulin sensitivity reduce future medical expenses and reliance on costly fixes. This is prevention quietly compounding. For your happiness, there's a psychological win. This habit replaces mindless snacking with something intentional. You feel more in control rather than reactive, and when your body feels more responsive, confidence follows. There's also an identity shift happening, because when you introduce small intelligent stressors, cold, movement, restraint, you reinforce the identity of someone who works with their biology, not against it. And that identity compounds. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet, you don't need extreme cold exposure, you just need better signals. So tonight, instead of reaching for something warm, sugary, or comforting out of habit, give this a try. A handful of frozen blueberries. Eat them slowly, don't rush. One small cold signal, one activated system, one quiet ripple effect. And before you move on with your day, let's slow down once more. Because the mistake people often make after a message like this is they try and change everything at once. That pressure leads straight back to avoidance, because real progress doesn't come from doing more, it comes from choosing better signals. Daily wins work because they remove drama from change. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on design. And every small habit you repeat teaches your body what environment it's living in. Over time, your body adapts, either towards resilience or towards softness. That is why health, wealth, and happiness are never separate here. They're all downstream of the same systems. Improve the system, and everything else becomes easier. If you'd like a simple way to see how these small habits can stack up for you, download your free copy of my Foundation Blueprint. It's not a challenge or a program, it's just a tool for awareness that will help you spot your wins and catch your daily drifts. It will also help you stay consistent without any pressure. You'll find it in the show notes below on my website or via the link in my Instagram bio. And if today's episode has struck a chord with you, please share it with someone who thinks metabolism is out of their control or just down to their genetics, because sometimes just one new idea is enough to reopen a whole new world of possibility. So take this new insight with you, not as another thing to optimize, but as a reminder that your body is listening to the signals you send it. And now that we know what a better signal is, let's choose it. I end each episode by asking you a question that you can answer in the comments below, and today's question is this. Knowing that small cold signals can activate powerful metabolic signals, what late night evening habit could you swap for frozen blueberries to support your future health? Have a think about it. Let me know what springs to mind in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Big love, Big Daddy.